right, we are now live. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is your host, Latoya Riggins. Welcome to the Craft Cafe. And we are here at the bottom of August. We have gone through the summer. It's still going, but we are here, the moment that you guys have been waiting for. But before I introduce our topic for today, I just want to give a shout out and just kind of let everybody get in the building because I already know it is the middle of the day. It's Friday, so happy Friday, you guys. Let me explain craft. We got people coming in right now. Let me explain what craft is. Craft is our online business and professional development platform, specifically designed for early childhood education business leaders, you guys. So we have taken our conference courses and all of our consulting and just put it into a bundle and created a membership base for it so that we can bring all of our expertise with our consulting team to everyone all over the world for a fraction of the cost. Okay, so what we're doing here, this is our Craft Cafe. This is a spin-off of our webinar. So this is where we get to let our hair down and really dig into the latest that's happening in the industry, the leaders that are really pushing the industry forward, so that not only that you get their stories, but you can learn from them and you can go ahead and bring your story to the table because these are voices that are rarely heard in the mainstream media. We want to change that. We want to make sure that there's a voice to this industry, and we're bringing on the heavy hitters, you guys. So without further ado, we got people coming in, and I'm so glad, happy to see y'all. Come on in, keep coming. We're going to go around and let everybody introduce themselves, but while you guys are getting in, make sure that you have something to drink. You know, if you got your crab mug, go ahead and pull it on out, and we're going to get started. So let me tell you about our feature for today, you guys. I'm so excited to have this lady on. This is Miss Glenesa Swann, you guys. She is the owner of Tooney Town Early Childhood. It's multiple. She's a multi-center owner. Can I tell y'all, can I tell a story of how we met Glenesa real quick?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. So guys, you know that when it comes to craft and better futures, I am all things craft, but my expertise on the consulting team is marketing. So when you come to our craft classes, all the marketing classes are normally taught by me, and I'm the head consultant on that. So when I see branding, you guys, I go crazy. I'm like a kid in a candy store. You know how women that's into shoes, they see a hot pair of shoes, they like, ow. You know, I'm like that when it comes to branding because I know what goes into it. So I'm at the Maryland by the Sea conference, as I am every year. Shout out to Maryland. And you know, everybody comes up to the booth. I always have a booth in the exhibit area, and I get to, you know, talk to everybody. There's this group of people that had came together. They all had on the outfits, the t-shirts, and I see the t-shirts, I see the scrubs, I see all of that. You know, those are common, and I definitely think it's good. But what they took it up a notch, which really caught my eye. They had these beautiful denim jackets, and I come from the art world, fashion and all that. I know my fabrics. I worked at fabric stores, and this was the good denim, y'all. I'm not talking about no, you know, Fashion Nova. I'm talking about the real cut denim. Embroidery had the logo on there, and I'm like, wait a minute, let me see that. I had to touch it, and it was so quality. I said, oh my goodness, where do you work? And they said, we are at Tooney Town. I said, Tooney Town? What? You talking about that big old van that was outside that I seen in the parking lot that was wrapped from head to toe, from the front to back, the rooter to the tutor? They said, oh, yeah, that's us. I said, well, damn, how many of y'all here? I don't remember what she said, but it was double digits. That's all I know. It was double digits of how many of them was there. And I
15.
said, oh, no. And they said, oh, she here. And I was like, oh, well, can you please bring her over here? Like, I need to meet this lady. I was so impressed with this woman because how her employees talked about her, the branding was already what caught my eye, but really talking to her employees, how proud they were to work there, how they got along with each other, like they presented themselves as leaders. I thought one of them were the at least the director. These were the teachers, you know. So I had to meet this lady. So it took the whole time before I met her. I didn't meet her to the end. And when they brought this beautiful Black woman over to me, I said, I know you don't know me, ma'am, but I just needed to meet you. I felt like I was being a celebrity because I needed to know who this woman was that was causing all of this, you know? And here she is, you guys. Like, she's here on my show, and we're gonna be getting into where, how she became who she is, where she get the ideas to actually go forward. Because I don't see a lot of owners that have that marketing thing. They got business down pat, but marketing is another animal. So we're gonna be talking to her about that. So I just had to tell her, Glenesa, because I was crazy. I was like, where is she? Where is she? I had no idea what you look like or anything. But your presence came before you.
Oh, wow.
So I said, this has to be a powerful person. I have to meet her. And when I met you, I was like, oh gosh, I gotta have her on my show. Like, what? So before we get into her, you guys, let's see who's in the room, who's in the cafe with us, because we got the whole time that we're gonna go in with Miss Glenesa. So let's see who's in the room. All right, now let's see. KG. Now, you guys out of here. One thing I want everybody at home watching to remember, that this is childcare, this is early child education. Most people are working right now. So they spend time, it's like nap time ish. But Miss Glenesa, she's in a different time zone. But most people that's in the East Coast time zone, you're on nap time ish. So you might not could really chime in, but you could listen. So if you are able to come on, even if you can't come on camera and you want to chime in, just tell us who you are, how you heard about the Craft Cafe, how long you've been in the industry, if you're in the industry. So, we know who's on with us today. Let's see, who do we have in here? We have KG. I say KK. The two Ks are big. Stephanie, we got Charlize, and we got Denisha. All right, any one of you? Now, do you know any of them?
I do. I know a few of them.
Okay, well, if you guys can't come on, I'll have Glenesa introduce who you are. But I would love to hear from you guys yourselves. But I understand people are working right now, and then you guys are on different time zones. So I'm gonna let you introduce them, Glenesa. Tell us who they are, and then we'll get into you.
I'm not sure who KG is, but the others are family members of mine, on to support, to provide support. So very, very close family, all of the others, very close family.
Wonderful. I love family support. Everybody does, especially with childcare, because family childcare, I always say family childcare is my baby, because, here goes Charlize. Hi,
Charlize.
That's what you want. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Definitely family here to support Glenesa. So happy to be here.
That's my goddaughter.
Yes. My name is Charlize Jones. I'm here. I'm not in the industry, but I do work in IT. So I'm here to support and just to hear what's going on. And hopefully this won't be the last time I'll participate.
That's right. Well, IT, I'm telling you, one thing we talk about a lot and we work with is technology. So we need you, girl. We need IT in the building, because a lot of the things that we're doing to move forward in the industry involves technology. So we got to know that too. So thank you for being here.
I did a lot of project management. Where you calling in from? I'm here in Houston.
Oh, you're in Houston.
Right around the corner in Spring.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you. Thank you for coming to the Craft Cafe. Yes, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we got Denisha. Am I saying it right? Is it Denisha?
It is Denisha. Hi, okay. I'm popping on and joining. I am Glenesa's cousin, and I'm joining in support as well. I am not directly in childcare and in the early child field, but I work in my capacity in my job. I work with children and families. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist in DC. In Virginia.
DC, stand up.
Yeah, DC and Virginia. So, so I am also going off camera, and will be muted, as I will be kind of over here working. So, glad to be here and support.
Thank you. And I love your shirt. That's why I wanted to know what you did. Mental health warrior. Thank you for looking out for the children and families. We definitely need you in the building, because we talk about that all the time. So thank you. And support your family. I love it. Who else is brave enough to come on and just say hi? Pop on in. Let's see. D. Okay, hi. KG. Hi, KG. What's your name?
I'm sorry. My name is KG. I'm sorry, guys. I was on a call. Yes. Hi. My name is Catrice Georgie. I am from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm a realtor in Maryland, and I am here to support Glenesa as her goddaughter. I'm very proud of her, and all of her accomplishments. So I definitely wanted to jump on and introduce myself, but I was handling a call, so I'm so sorry about that. But I'm really excited to be here, really excited to see what you guys are going to talk about today. And yes, I'm here for support always.
And I've had her son since he was born.
Yes.
In my
yes,
center. So he's now going to second grade. So I've had him since forever.
Yep. So my baby could not go anywhere else. She already knew he was not going anywhere else. I had a fit when it was time for him to go to daycare, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. She was like, I don't have no spots. I was like, you better find me a spot.
Right. Well, I can hear that Baltimore too.
Yes, in Baltimore. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Y'all over. Look at that web of support. And we got to keep this going, you guys. I love it. Ooh.
Thank you for having me. And I'm here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming on. Don't be a stranger now.
Of course not.
Right? I love it. Look at this. Let's see. Who else we got? Let's see. Stephanie, you working? Let's see. D just came on. D Hughes. Where you at, D?
These are all my peeps.
All your peoples. Well, listen, we're going to keep it moving because, there's D. D can come on. Hey, D. Go ahead and unmute. You're on mute. She riding somewhere. She in the car.
Yes, I'm en route, and I got the notification that this was on. I totally forgot about it. I don't know what I'm supposed to say, but I just been knowing Glenesa since 2009. Our girls played AAU basketball together, and she is just the bomb on all levels. And I just wanted to come on and support and hear what she had to say.
Thank you, Dee. Thanks for coming, even on the road. I love it.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Who didn't we get to? All right, KG, Charlize came on, Denisha, Stephanie. So she must be working. So Stephanie, we gonna shout you out. Shout out to Stephanie Bell for coming on to the show. If you can hear us, we got you, girl. Don't worry. So let's get started. All right, Glenesa, we turning the crosshairs on you. They're giving little drips and drops of what you've done in their lives. So what I want to hear, I want to start from the beginning.
Ooh.
I want to, I already kind of told them you're a multi-site owner, but I want to know what happened, where were you, and how did you even decide to answer the call? Because one thing I always say about this, one thing I always say about this industry is that it is a calling, and tons of people have that calling. They just don't always answer it because it's not for the faint of heart, So I always wonder, when you got that call, what made you answer it and what made you say yes? So start from before you even got into the industry.
Well, it's been over 20 years. This is 2024. So it's been 23, 22 years, almost 25 years, I would say. And it's really was something that was birthed out of my sister, who was doing childcare for so long. We were both starting families. And I was recently divorced, trying to raise 2 children. They were toddlers, 2 and 4 at the time, and trying to figure out how I'm gonna, make this switch in my life. And my sister came to me with a proposal. She had been doing childcare in her home, and she came to me with a proposal to do a center. And this was back in 2000, literally. And so we jumped on a bandwagon. It took us about a year to get started from the time we had the first conversation to the time we opened our door.
Wow.
And we originally started in a spot in Owings Mills, which was a brand new construction, a brand new building. So we jumped deep, 100 feet deep in it. We newly constructed a 10,000 square foot space for childcare. And I had never even thought about childcare, but I had 2 little ones. And I saw that the centers, the places that I was looking at, I didn't like. My sister had been doing it for years, so she's giving me the legal perspective, but I'm coming in as a mom and what I want as a mother for my children. And that's the part that I brought to the table. So I'm not sure, obviously it was some sort of calling, but it came so much later in life. And it came really birthed out of a need for my own children. And I couldn't find a place that was good enough for them. So I said, we're going to do it ourselves. And our children were our first children. My son was the first graduating class of pre-K, and he's now 26. So that was a fun roller coaster. We rode that for a while. We rode it for a little while, and then it just wasn't big enough for me. It wasn't enough for me.
How many kids did you start out with?
The center was 10,000 square feet, licensed for 130 something children. That's what we started with. We had close to 20 staff in that building, and it was definitely a whirlwind. That's what we originally started with around 2007. We opened our door in September of 2001. 2007, I kind of had it down packed by then.
Yeah.
I was ready to grow. I was really ready to grow because my vision was big. I looked into franchising, and that's when you talk about branding and all that. That is really what stuck out to me. And when I started looking into franchising, I started looking into known franchises. Some of the known franchises we know, McDonald's,
yeah,
Bucks, things like that. And you know what they have in common is everywhere you go, they look the same. And so that was my whole vision. We had a whole vision with Tooney, with our color scheme, with the logo, and I just wanted to blast it all over everywhere, wherever we went. The cars, the shirts, the document stationery that we used, and it was just to the center, the way it looked inside, and wanted everything to be uniform. And I mean, it just kind of took off from there. We just wanted to have everything look the same no matter what. And we spread out. I would think in 2009 is when we purchased 2 additional centers and took them, cleaned them up, and put the Tooneytown spin on it. And we still have those 2 that are going really strong. We're booked. We are like 99% enrolled. We have wait lists. God has been amazing. Ooh. It was nothing that I could have ever thought that he would have blessed me with. And it has allowed me the opportunity to raise my children, still be available to them without having to punch a clock, without having to do a 9 to 5. I was self-employed, so I was always available to my children. So that's why it worked for me.
I love that. When I hear those origin stories, it gives me chills, you guys. And
it gives me chills too, thinking about it.
Right. And like you said, and that was, I remember when you said 2001, I was still in college. I was like, damn, like what was I doing in 2001? If I would have started back then, where would I be now? Wow. Because it's my sister's my muse for this business. She started at Family Childcare when I was a teenager in New York, and I worked there. And you know, now she's working on getting back to it. She would work at different centers. So when I got that experience as a kid, you know, and I saw her, like you said, a young mother, you know, really looking to help herself, but started to help other people, you know, and just what that meant to the community and to the parents. And I love what you said about how you, as a parent, knew what you were looking for and you didn't see it. And it's like, that's why I love what I get to do, because I'm a mom. And I know the business side of it too, but I also, the part of me that I think is the strongest when it comes to working with providers is my mom's side, because I'm your target audience. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm like looking at it how a mom's going to look at it too. And the business side, like funder and things like that. So now it makes sense when you talk about the franchise piece, because you had, I mean, pop down the line. And I picked that up on like from the grip. I was like, pop. Who is she? Where's she at? Who is, you know what I mean? Like, I got to know this thing. Like, because I could tell that you understood the assignment, pretty much, like they say on the internet. She understood the assignment. And
it was intentional. It was all of that.
I could tell it was intentional. That's why I said, I need to meet this person. And that's why I wanted you to come on and talk about that piece, Glenesa, because I work with a lot of providers, a lot of owners and things like that, and directors. And a lot of times the first thing they tell me is, I don't have a budget for that. So what, you know, we got Jahi B. Davis, MBA. He's the finance man, money man. So I'm like, if you don't have the money, we got to make the money. If we can't make the money, we got to raise the money. But we don't never say we don't have the money. We got to say, what do we need? And then we got to actually get the money. So one thing about what we do at Craft is changing mindsets to let them know that when you create a budget, marketing is a huge part of a successful business. And I'm glad that you mentioned those franchises like Starbucks. I call it my crack, y'all, because when I'm out of town, I'm looking for that mermaid. I'm looking for that green mermaid. Like, where's my crack? Like, and it's the branding. It's not that it's the greatest logo ever. We know that the logo was pretty whack, but it's not about the logo. It's about the brand and what the brand says. Like you said, when you go to Starbucks, you know what you get. You know it's going to be the wood grain all over. The lighting is going to be the same. The color scheme, even the drink. Like, I travel the country, and I know I asked for my white chocolate mocha. It's going to be what I said it's going to be.
Right. It's the same.
Yeah. As humans, we're creatures of habit. So I want to go into with you, like, when you started the first business, I want to know, how did it affect your talent acquisition process? Because that, I know marketing is a big deal, but people think that marketing is just for getting clients, getting customers, getting families. But marketing is bigger, branding, I should say. This is about branding, not even just marketing. Branding is more than just a cute logo or shirt. I want you to talk more about, like, when you first started, like before you got to the next locations, how did that help you out? Or how did it affect, I should say, how you targeted talent? If you had to go out for any funding, how did your brand, like building your brand, affect that?
Well, I think that, when you talked when we talked about funding and you talked about money and all that stuff, even if you don't have the money, you have to be creative. We didn't have a lot of money. This was before Canva and all these other apps that are out now to help you do your own branding. You have to be creative and try to do some things on your own. And that's what we did. But I think what happened is, over time, and as we started to try to, like you said, talent, not just that, but when we're looking into other industries, trying to get help, banking, going to different meetings, the presence that we brought made people think we were bigger than what we really were. I had a lot of parents saying, "Oh, where's your other location?" I'm like, "It's just us."
Yeah.
Because it's the presence, and when I'm speaking with bankers, they think we're huger than, or bigger than what we are, much bigger. And we were just some little teeny little childcare center, but that's the importance of the branding, is it gives the impression that you are huge and that you're bigger, so that people really want to deal with you on that level. It's unfortunate that is how it is, but people take it more serious, and people are much willing to work with you because they have a sense that you're much bigger than what you really are. Now, they don't know that you're working on it, that you're growing, which we were at the time. But that's how that impacted us. So it was much easier for me to go out and to set up meetings with banks and to set up meetings with other vendors, because they thought we were much bigger than what and I let them think it. I mean, if that's what they want to think,
that's the point.
And if that helped us to get to from A to Z or whatever, that's what we did. Of course, we had to fulfill whatever promises that we made, because no matter how big you are, if you're not fulfilling, the obligations, it doesn't matter. But I think that really helped to get our foot in the door for a lot of things. I've had a lot of parents even ask, are you franchised? Will you franchise? If you franchise, let me know. I want to buy one. So, and I had a parent put the franchise thought in my head, because I'm like, I'm not doing that. The parent was like, it was parent was working in business, and they was like, you really need to consider it. Which we did. We walked that path. It's a huge path to walk, but we did entertain that for a while. And that was a goal of ours, was to ultimately franchise. Things just kind of shifted with the dynamics with my sister, and then she eventually left the center and left the business. So things shifted for me as well. But that was definitely one of the plans, was to franchise. And I think it helped to get our foot in the door with marketing companies, with banks and things like that, to help us to fund. And that ultimately helped me to buy the other two centers. And it was flawless. I mean, really, the transition from one to the other two, adding it to three, it was a smooth transition, not a lot of bumps in the road. People were wanting to work with us. They saw our track record, and that really helped.
I love that. You're speaking my language so much, because I talk about this all the time, because like you said, they think you're bigger than you are because you took the time to invest in it. And that's why I tell people it's worth the investment. And especially when it comes to family childcare, I talk about family childcare a lot because a lot of times the mentality is more mom and pop. So they
Right.
don't think that they need to do all of those things. And I tell them like, oh yeah, you know, just because it's your house doesn't mean it still doesn't need to be set up. Don't mean you don't need a little pressure washing every now and again on the steps and
Correct.
the
Yes.
grass cut for real. Like, you know what I mean? You might
Yeah.
have to spend a little bit of money, but you gotta, he always says you gotta spend money to make money. And
yeah,
that's why I want you to talk about that piece, the investment in the marketing piece. Now, you said you guys were doing it yourself at first, right?
Yes, we were doing a lot of stuff ourselves. Developing logos, we were doing it ourselves. We worked with the company, ultimately, which kind of took what we had and, you know, revamped it and so forth. But then we took it after some years and we revamped it ourselves because I couldn't afford to pay a company to keep doing these revisions with logos. And we just played with it, you know what I mean? But we stepped out of that shadow and tried to do it on our own because we didn't have the money. It just wasn't just because we didn't have the money, we're not going to do it.
Right.
That's how it worked. You know what I mean? And so when I have staff that come on board, they understand that this is how we do things. And we do help our staff, but you know, with the uniforms, like you said, that was a requirement. And I don't know if I can say this, but you know, you stop
say whatever you want.
Okay, then I'm gonna say it. But you know, as an African-American woman and you going into business, they don't take you seriously. You know what I mean? If I was a Caucasian female doing this in a building, they are taken much more seriously than we are, you know? So for me going in, if you can imagine me some 20 some odd years ago, going into a meeting with David S. Brown to lease 10,000 square foot of space.
Right.
And I've never owned a childcare center. It was the presence, you know what I mean? And that's what would help them. They approved us right away. And we were stellar tenants and we were with them for 20 years, literally. And we were literally stellar. They did not want us to leave. That's how good we were. So
I love that.
I get to toot my horn a little bit today.
You better do it.
My family and friends, they don't really know what I do. They know what I do, but don't really know what I do. And I joke that y'all think I don't work.
Right.
Always available. But we do our thing. We do our thing. So I'm very pleased. You know, my sister's not on the call. I wish she was. I sent her the link, but a lot of it I do give her a lot of praise because you know, she is the one who pushed me into this. And we ultimately split in 2021, I believe, with the business part of it. I remained, but she decided, and that's what caused us to sell one of the businesses. But, you know, God had a bigger plan and I just rely on that. And I know that that's how I got to where I am. But she was a big push on how we got to where we were. She was afraid, but I was like, we got to go big or we
go big. That's what we say. Go big or go home.
Yeah. So, and just as much as she pushed me, I pushed her. So it was a collaborative effort.
Y'all sound like me and my sister. My sister's now a Craft Lux member, y'all, because I had to get her in here. So and she's working on opening her center in Maryland too. So she's going to do it out here instead of New York. But Glenesa, I'm so excited to have you tell that story because there's so many business owners that really need the empowerment. And that's what craft is about because even when it comes to like creating your budget for now, my thing is craft. Let me tell you real quick about the membership, the Craft Lux membership in particular, because I have a lot of members that have the same issue. They don't have the money right now to do what they want to do, but they have a little bit of wherewithal about what their vision is, just executing it. So what I tell them is, if that's the case, get a Lux membership. Lux memberships come with unlimited one-on-ones. So I have members that book with me every week, and we go through the marketing, and I critique it. I show them little things. And sometimes I might do a little something for them. You know, it's like, hey, show me what you did. I'm gonna tighten it up. Send me the link. I'm gonna tighten it up. You know what I mean? If you're working on the logo yourself, I've had our members who, you know, they opening up a new business or the part 2, and they want to abbreviate the logo, and they say, hey, I'm trying to get this together. I'll be like, send it to me. It's something quick. I'm not going to charge you. You my member. So that's what Craft Lux is about. I'm going to guide you. You know, flyers, I'm brutal. I tell everybody when they work with me, I give them a disclaimer. I'm like, listen, anything I say is business, is not personal. Please don't.
Not at all. Absolutely. I wish I had Craft Lux 20 years ago.
Yeah, because people be showing me stuff, I'd be like, I don't love it. We can't use that. Like, please don't use that. You know, because I tell people, you got a flyer, you got a logo, whatever, website, come and make an appointment with me. Let me look over it. At least I could give you some tips on what you could change, what things you could do better. And if you're struggling with marketing and branding, do a consultation so we could get a plan going. And right. I have people that I meet with every single week. I'll do social media with them. Because my thing is, if you can't pay me to do it for you, I'm gonna help you do it.
That is,
you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
That's why we created Craft, because we wanted solutions. We're not gonna sit here and talk a hole in your head and we can't help you do nothing about it. You know, who feels like that? So we want to make sure that you have action. Any of our Craft members that use their membership, you can see where their marketing got better, their budgeting got better, their finances got better because they took boot camps where they could actually learn. We don't want you to have to be a CPA. That's not your lane. But right. You do have to understand business finances and your categories. You know, so when it comes to business, I want to talk about that. This is the branding aspect. How did you learn the business piece?
It's a lot of it is trial and error, and then over time we're bound by regulation, so state regulation. You know what I mean? So you going through the regs, excuse me, you're going to learn the business really quick, and then I'm taking classes just like my staff are taking classes. I have never worked in the classroom. Not one day, but I'm certified to work in every classroom. And so the whole point of it is I need to know what my staff are going through. So I've gone through all of the credentials for childcare, just so that I can know what my staff have to know as well. And as a result of that, that's how I've learned the business, if that makes sense. I have a portfolio, a whole book of all my credentials, literally like this thick. So I have all the credentials that my staff have, all of them.
I love that.
So trying to lead by example, trying to, even though I know my intent was to never be in a classroom, but again, you just never know the path that God might lead you to. So you got to be ready. So that was the whole point of taking all of the classes, and you're going to learn really, really quick. But I also tell people too, a lot of it, common sense, I guess, ain't so common.
No, that's my grandmother used to say.
A lot of it is so common, and you got to always put yourself in the shoes of a parent or a client or whatever the business is, and knowing what you would want if you were in their position, but still trying to maintain the business, if that makes sense. So it's a balance there as well. So that helps to learn the business as well. Definitely.
I love that piece, because that's what we teach at Craft is, the business piece, the ins and outs. We're not trying to make you a master's in business, but we do need you to understand certain things so that you could push past, like you said, the fear and I say a lot of times people just are not dreaming. They don't take it to the point where they, like, all the things that they want, they don't even talk about. So when I'm on with a client, I'm like, so give me your dreams. Like, I want to hear your hopes and dreams. Like, I love it. I think I talked about that with you too. I was like, what's your vision for going forward? You've been doing it so long. I know, like, somebody like you, I was like, God is always a step ahead. 2-3 steps ahead, actually.
I am. Still.
Yeah, I could tell. Like, just listening to you right now, like the fact that you didn't never work in a classroom and you got all the credentials, you're very intentional. You know what I mean? I could tell from them daggone jean jackets you was intentional. That's why I said I have to learn. I gotta meet this lady and find out her story. You know what I mean? And just like you said, a lot of people probably don't get to ask you that. But that's how it is in childcare. There's so many powerful people really doing this business that doesn't get the recognition that it deserves at all. They don't get the flowers, they don't get the glory, and they are the real MVPs, because that 0 to 5 age group is the most important part of a human's development.
Yes.
And how can you put them to the side?
Development. It is.
Where the world is in your hands, pretty much. The future is in your hands. That's why we call better futures, because we're trying to make a better future. And if we are not working on the people who are working on this new generation, what are we doing then?
Yep. So important.
Just repeating the same thing.
repeating the same thing. It's so important.
Yeah.
You know, I have Denisha on here and she works with children as well. So I'm certain that she can kind of attest to that 0 to 5, but it is so important. That is the foundation, you know, at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you. A lot of people aren't looking at it from that perspective, you know. Of course, you know, we talk about elementary school teachers, middle, high school teachers as well, but they are relying on us to make sure that these children are coming in with a certain foundation when they start to help make their job a little
easier, right?
Yeah. It's very important. This 0 to 5 years is very important.
It is.
And it is very important.
That's why I love my show, because I get to bring those voices out. I get to really push them out and let people know what we're doing. And we all gonna make noise about it, because it is not okay that we get looked over. You know what I mean? Even when it comes to funding from the government, yes. You know what I mean? Like the type of subsidies from the employment world, like the business world that relies on us. You know what I mean? So this is why we really do what we do, because of the people that's behind it. That's why this episode is the woman behind the brand, because a lot of people, they see the brand, they see Van, they see all your accomplishments and the buildings and stuff like that, but they don't know what went into getting there. So that's why I'm so grateful to you, Ms. Glenesa, for agreeing to come on and just really being open and candid about your story, because I'm sure that this is going to help someone. It's going to inspire someone, because like I said, that call, there's so many people where that phone is still ringing.
Yes.
They don't know the first step. They don't know how to start. They don't know anybody who can help them. So that's why I say, whoa, Mayday, we are right here. That's why we're here. And it's not just for people who just starting out. There's people, like you said, that's been in business for 10, 20 years that needs this, because things have changed. Like you said, when you talked about, I love that you said, you know, back in 2001, they didn't have Canva and all that. And you're absolutely right, because I'm an artist, so I've been drawing by hand. I still to this day, y'all, ask any of my clients that do logos with me. I got a book of my sketches. That's why I course. You know, that's why you got to pay me, because I don't just go to Canva and spruce.
Right.
I physically, with my hand, my pen, my markers, my pencils, and my paper, and I draw concept sketches depending on what the actual owner wants, you know, and I have to know you, because it's like a soul thing. It's not just, okay, this is cute, put that up.
No,
it has to have a story behind it.
Has to have a story behind it. Yeah. I totally agree. And that means then it has to have purpose.
Yes.
As well. It has to have some sort of purpose. I think COVID, I did want to touch on COVID just a minute.
Yes, please.
The industry, you know, really was able to, COVID really shed light on the industry. I think that's when people started to really know how essential we were.
Yes.
And it also, because I mean, in every industry, you have some that are in it for the wrong reasons or not in it for the proper reasons. But COVID shined a light on a lot of these industries to show that we are definitely essential, because without us, the country would indeed shut down without childcare providers.
That's what I said.
And we constantly fight, and we had to fight with the government, and we got what we needed. And that's why we were able to survive and make it through COVID. A lot of childcare centers did not make it. A lot of them.
A lot.
And
some I knew, and I was sad, because I was like, "Don't do it, don't close." They like, so I got to.
Can't do it. Yeah, and it's not that they wanted to, but we were literally hanging on a wing, you know, a wing and a prayer. But you know, we not knowing, we planned for that. So we were good. I mean, when I say we were good during COVID, we were great.
So how did y'all handle it? Did y'all close?
I'm sorry?
How did y'all handle COVID? Did y'all close?
We didn't close at all. No, we were still running. Mm-hmm.
Wow, really?
We did. I have, you know, my staff was so concerned, obviously, because for a lot of them, this is their livelihood. This is how they live. So I had, you know, that on my shoulder, worrying about how these people are going to be able to continue to survive, because a lot of them, this is their craft. This is what they do for a living. And so, you know,
your craft.
we talk about branding and we talk about marketing, but there's a whole lot more that's involved with it as well. We were able to plan financially. I had I don't know what you call it, like a nest of money.
Like emergency fund.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I had it so we could tap into it. I did not have to let any staff go. I did not have to lay anyone off. We were considered essential. So with that being said, we were able to have children of essential personnel to come stay at the center. So we had some existing families who were considered essential. And then we had some new families whose centers did shut down and they were looking for a place. And we were able to take them because we were only allowed to take essential personnel, children of essential personnel.
Was there a cap on how many?
Well, the cap is our license capacity.
Oh, really? So you could be fully enrolled long as they're essential children.
As long as they were considered essential.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did they pay extra?
They did.
They
did. So COVID was like a turning point.
COVID.
But yeah, it really was probably one of the best things that happened to Tooney Town. Wow. If that makes sense to some people.
It does. Because I say the pandemic wasn't all bad for everybody. I ain't have a bad time in the pandemic. Our business been virtual since before pandemic. So it boosted us up too because everybody's looking for virtual now.
Yes.
And so we was already set up while people was trying to figure out what platform they're going to go. Like, come on in. We already here.
But it did force us to change some of our protocols, which were all good. You know, right. For example, payments. Banks were not allowing people in. So I could not go. I would make large cash deposits because I had parents couldn't go in the bank. So it forced us to change the way we operate, but it forced it in a good way. So now all payments are digital. I didn't have that before. I had checks, I had cash, which was putting me in danger, putting my life at risk, walking around with all this cash trying to go to the bank. But now everything is digital and it's much better now. Everything is much smoother. I don't have to worry about theft. It's just COVID just forced you to change the way you think. And if you were not the type of person that was willing to open up and change how you thought about things, you were not going to make it.
No, you got to be able to pivot.
You have to pivot. And that's in any industry. You have to learn to pivot. And, you know, the people, I don't like change. Change is inevitable. It's coming. And sometimes that's where the branding comes in too, because you might have to change your branding. You might have to change how you're marketing. You may have to do a lot of that when a crisis hit. But, you know, I always say stay ready so you don't have to get ready because it's coming.
That's my stuff. That's my line, girl.
It's coming. The crisis is coming. It's just a matter of when. So you always got to be prepared for it. And especially for me, I have these people looking to me to help make sure that they stay employed, to make sure they can take care of their families. And they were very concerned. And I told them, work with me. And they worked with me. And when I could, I gave them bonuses just to say thank you. You know what I mean? When monies came through like PPP loan, and I gave my staff, I shared all of it with my staff just to make sure this, you know, let them know to say, you know, say thank you. Yeah. But it was probably one of the best things. It forced us to change the way we operated in a good way.
I love that. Wow. Now that we're talking about staff, because I met your staff, they're so cute. Like, I mean, the bubbliness, like their energy, nobody was shy. Everybody had their own swag going on.
You're not shy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think one. There was one little short girl. She was just the cutest little thing. She happened to know Dr. Gunling. She worked, I don't know if she used to work at Sunshine Learning in the Southeast. I can't think of her name. Brown skin, short.
I can't remember which one. I remember one of them recognized or knew his name.
Yeah.
And remember him.
He was like, wait a minute. And he knew her name. Once she said who, like, you know, where he knew her from, that she was like, wait a minute. So knowing that connection was there, and Dr. Gunning is excellent. Anybody he is through the roof. So I was like, oh, she got good people in there. They know Dr. Gunning. Like, let me ask you about that. What's that like, your talent acquisition? What do you look for? How do you get good people? And how long do they stay? Like, do they stay long?
Yeah, I have staff that's been with me. I mean, right now we have the two centers still, and that we started in 2009, and I still have staff that I've had since 2009.
Wow. How do you do
it? I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah. I just be myself. You know, Catrice is on the call. She is 30 something kg, and I've known her since she was 12, 13 because her mom worked with me. So, you know, I've been doing this for a good minute, and they do stay. You know, a lot of them do stay. Her mom was with me for a very long time. So I've seen her grow.
Like, it's got to be something that you're looking for. Like, what's your?
It is,
like,
but it's so hard.
That sets them apart?
It's very difficult to find, you know, that type of staff to kind of fit the mold. It's very difficult because you know, you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you, and sometimes they could be excellent teacher, but just do not fit the criteria that we're looking for as far as staffing is concerned. It's not just enough to be a good teacher. It's not just enough to have all the credentials. They have to be on board with how we move and how we shift and how we pivot and how we do things, because at any moment I can change and say, this is what we're doing, and you got to trust me. And I think that's probably part of it why they stay so long. They do trust me. So, and I think COVID was definitely the tall tale sign of, can we trust her? You know? And I think that made a big difference. They have to be able to trust, you know, just as much as they trust me, I have to be able to trust them too. Because see, I'm in Texas and everything is running smooth.
So, well, now that we on that stuff, how did that happen? Were you always in Texas and then you commuted, or did you migrate? How did that happen?
It's been less than a year. So, you know, again, I've been doing this for close to 25 years. As I was telling you, I'm moving my way out, and I'm trying to pass the baton on. And as I'm saying this, we're expanding one of our other locations, adding more space, probably about another 75%. So I'm working with Jahi on that because we stay full. We have a waiting list. So it's like God is telling me, you need more space. You need more space. But I said to God, I'm trying to leave. And he said, not yet.
Not yet. I need you to do a little bit more first.
Do a little bit more.
Like, I ain't done with you, girl.
I'm not done. So
get back in here.
We have a huge project coming up now where we're looking to expand, and not quite double, but we're adding about 75% more space that I feel fairly confident we're going to immediately fill.
I love it. Yeah. I gotta come visit.
Our space is prime. We call it is prime. Prime. Yeah. Because when the parents leave, that space gone, and it's usually gone for good. Wow. And they try to come back, and we're like, it's gone.
Yeah.
So when they come, the parents they stay just as much as the staff. They stay. The family stay too.
This is why I always say, what's your secret? But it sounds like just really pouring yourself into it sounds like the secret, and being true to what you set forth for your business.
I try. I deliberately and intentionally try, but no good deed goes unpunished, right?
Right. And you have to have a ton of faith in you to dream this big and actually go for it.
God, I have faith in God.
Oh, wow.
God. He's not going to take me nowhere that I ain't supposed to be. I know that. He's tried and true. I've already tried him. He's not going to take me nowhere I'm not supposed to be.
I know that's right.
So, and some people get scared, and not that I don't either, but as a leader, I can't show it. I have to continue to walk in it, because if I'm walking in it, they feel like, if she good, I'm good. You know, I got plan B, C, D, E, F, G
right.
lined up if A falls through.
I mean, if anybody sees this and not get inspired, I don't know what they need, a smack in the butt or something. When I hear these stories, because, I'm, as a consultant, I have to hear your story. Like, to work with a person, the first meeting is never really about the project. It's about that connection between me and the person, and listening to their story. Because when I do websites and logos and stuff for people, I don't just do it. I have to get into your spirit and channel you through it so that I can give you what you need. So that's why I said I just want to pick your brain. You know what I mean? So when it comes to, we got 10 minutes left. So I want to make sure I got all my points with you. We talked about the branding. We talked about the funding. We even talked about, what is keeping everybody there. Now let's talk about the future for Tooney Town.
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
Future, how, like, next month?
What's your vision?
Yeah.
Like, what do you see? What do you want to see for Tooney Town?
Well,
the next, I guess, 5 to 10 years.
Well, I do continue to envision growth. I do. I'm really trying desperately to set up where I can pass the baton. You know what I mean? And I need to be able to do that to someone that is just as passionate about not just the business itself, but the children and the staff that are there. So I think that my tour is coming to an end. But it's a good thing. And
come on, you did decades. Like, sir, yes,
but I
sir.
really want to get where I can probably maybe do some consulting and be able to help other people who may be starting out or may have just run into some patches. My tolerance is pretty low though. So I need people that are really wanting to do better, be better. But that's kind of probably where, for me, that's my direction. Tooney will still be around. I don't see Tooney going away anytime soon because I am working on passing the baton, and I am definitely vetting the right people to be able to do that. So we're going to probably continue to grow and stay where we are. At some point, the decision will be out of my hands on how ultimately, they want to grow, where they want to go. But that's where I see for now because I'm on the tail end right now.
I love it though. I love to see the full journey.
Yeah.
So last but not least, what advice or just words of wisdom would you say, not to just a new business owner, but a business owner in the field that, might be feeling like, they don't want to keep going or they scared to move forward with the actual things they want to do, or they feel overwhelmed like they can't do it, or they don't know how they're going to do it, or maybe it's not for them, just all of those discouraging thoughts that people have that hold them back from ultimately doing the things that they want to do in this business?
I mean, everything is not for everybody. So you really have to decide if it's for you. You really have to know deep down if this is for you, because it's not for the weak. It just isn't. You have to be willing to take the hits and the criticism and be able to rise above it, because you're going to get it. And some of it might be valid, some of it may not be valid. So you have to be able to ascertain what is good and what's not good when people are speaking. And for me, move in silence. I move in silence. I don't do a lot of, this is the first time in 20 something years that this is stepping out of a comfort zone for me. If someone asks me, I'll be more than glad to share, but other than that, I don't share a whole lot. I just move in silence, and I'm trying to always position myself to be around people that are in the positions that I want to be in from a business perspective, right? Yeah. So if I'm trying to be someplace from a business perspective, I'm trying to talk and meet those people that are either going with me or already there, so that I can pick their brains. You have your company and your environment plays a huge role. Who you having happy hour with on Friday is not going to grow your business. That's just my opinion. That's just for me. But if those people are the ones that are that they are where you want to be, then hey, go out and have happy hour,
right,
drinks with them, and spend that time with them. But be intentional about it and make sure that you're picking their brain to help you get to where you want to be. Like I said, I move in silence. A lot of people don't know a lot of what I'm doing. I just keep it to myself. And I'm only talking to the people that can sincerely help me get to the next level. Sincerely help me, which means it's probably not family. It's probably not friends. They're doing their own thing. It's most likely some colleagues that may be in other businesses, right?
Mentors or something.
Yeah, exactly. Mentors, and speaking to them. So you really have to know if this is what you want to do. I cannot imagine punching a clock. I just can't.
Definitely not at this point.
I've been doing it for too long. And like I said, it has enabled me to raise my children. So, when you're out here and you're, especially if you're a single parent time and you need that flexibility, you got to know that being a business owner is going to give you that opportunity to do that. But you got to know that if this is really what you want to do, because you're going to run into potholes, you're going to get some negativity, you're going to get some scrapes and bruises, and you got to be able to withstand it. You really have to at the end of the day. My why were my children. And so now that they're adults and they're grown, that's not my why anymore. That's how I know it's time for me to pass the baton.
Yeah.
Because that was my why for all these years. My kids.
Wow.
That was my why. So what is your why? Why do you want to be a business owner? Why do you want to do this? So when I say for my kids, making sure that they had a good education, making sure they were, you know, around the right people, the right children, making sure that the foundation, the 0 to 5 years were the best for them. That was my why. And now I'm coming to the end of it. It's, you know, that's why it's no longer, I have to find another why. And I haven't found it in this industry thus far, other than trying to pass the baton on to someone else and to help support their why.
Right. Well, I love it. And I thank you for your service. I give you the military salute, because what you do is just as important as protecting the country abroad. You protecting, you know, the country here. You know, like
childcare is so important. It's I don't know, it's like one of the cornerstones. People just don't look at it from, they see babysitting.
Yeah.
And that is such an insult to the
industry.
It really is an insult to the industry.
It really is. And that's why we're working to change that and disrupt the system.
Yes.
And our members are the warriors too. So we all warrior together. So wait, we have some comments, some questions. Hold on. Who was that wanted to say something?
No, who's asking
Come
questions?
on in. Unmute. You unmute. There you
are. Hi. Okay. I just wanted to say that this was amazing. I'm in real estate, but just to hear the conversation, it was absolutely amazing to be a part of it. Glenesa is amazing, and this was not long enough, and it just does not give her justice to really talk about who she is and what she does. My relationship with Glenesa started out just as a parent. You know, like she said, actually before that, my mom worked at her center. And even as a child, I was like, Miss Glenesa, like I wanted to be around her. Like, you know, like I would go to the center, but I'm in her office. I want to talk to her, you know, and that turned into, you know, she became a mentor for me because I'm a single parent and I have, you know, my own business as a realtor. And then I had a son, and then my son went there. So it turned, and our relationship just has grown, and she's just like a beacon of knowledge and just a wealth of knowledge. And I just, she doesn't get enough credit to me. Like, she, you know, it's not enough credit. And I want for her to know, like, this is a great opportunity for you to really tell people, because it's like, the people that know her, like, we know who she is, we know what she can do, we know what she's capable of. But I feel like this platform just allows people that don't know her to really see, like, she's really an amazing person just overall. She's very, very smart, very talented, and she has a lot of information. So just for us to be able to, and I mean, clearly I love her because, like I said, I went from being shadowing under my mom and coming to the center, and then, you know, hey, can I be your mentor? Can I just be under you? Can I learn from you? And now I'm like, you my godmother. Like, I can't leave you. You can't leave me. Like, we got to be stuck now. So it's just like, this, you know, she's just a great, just overall, she's very smart, very knowledgeable. And I just wanted to say that I love you, and you did a wonderful job. And this was a great presentation, and I'm so happy that I was able to be a part of watching this.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank
you. That's what this is for, you guys. Y'all making me so happy. I get so excited. That's why I was so, and all the things that you're saying, I felt that from her. And when I met her, like, she was, and then she's like a statuesque woman. So she has that, like you said, that presence, and beautiful, and she's so confident. And I was a little scared to say something, but I ain't scared. So, but I had a little bit of it, like, I don't know how to approach her, but I just can't let her slip away, you know. So I had to just push past the fear. It was like, I'm coming up to her.
Yeah, you had, and you did a good thing. Yeah, you did a good thing. She's definitely, but she's very approachable. Like, you know, she's a person that knows what she knows. She knows what she wants, and like, I admire her, like, her strength too, because it's like, we don't have time to play. You know, we have goals that we're trying to attain and get to, and, you know, trying to make lives better for our children. So is like the small stuff we don't really have time for. But just overall, I'm just gonna pass it on to somebody else. But this was such an amazing presentation for me to be able to be a part of, because you can also take this and apply it to other businesses as well. It does not have to be childcare specific. You know, there's definitely things that I picked up being on here that I can apply to my own business and real estate. So thank you both for your time. Yeah, it was very nice.
Oh, she's so sweet. She's so cute. Oh. Wow, this is amazing. Did anybody else want to come on? D? Okay, D's already where she's at. So come on and get on you.
Don't you ask a question.
Yes, I'm in a store, so can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this was really, really good. I've been knowing Glenesa for a while, not as long as her goddaughter, but just to hear all of the background that I didn't know was very interesting. And when she says she moves in silence, like she really moves in silence. Like you just pop up, you talk to her after about 2 months, and she got a whole nother project going. We was like, well, when did that happen? Like she just keeps it moving. She don't look back. She's always about a business, and I truly just admire her for that, because everybody don't have that mindset, you know. So I just appreciate her friendship, her business mind, just everything. Like I just love her so much. So that's all I got to say.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Thank you for your support today, because I see you got stuff going on, but you still took the time to chime on in and come in. Thank you for that. We need that support, girl. So thank you.
You're welcome. She would do it for me in a heartbeat. I know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, the love. All right. Anybody else want to say anything? Because I love it. I know we're supposed to go to the 2, but if we're still talking, I don't cut it off, because, you know, unless you gotta go. But I saw Troy. Troy just got on. Hey, Troy. Do you have a moment to introduce yourself? And if you have a comment, definitely.
That's now my lovely husband.
That's your husband?
That's my lovely husband.
Hey, husband. Oh, you coming to support. Y'all, husband's on the line, hubby's on the line. So Troy, look, thank you. Shout out to you, because I know that if she's doing all of this in the streets, she got to be able to land soft. So you got to be doing something real good to have her coming back out every day, ready to fight. Okay. And she said, you got to stay ready. And then you don't have to get ready. I said that so much. So to hear it come out your mouth, I was like, I'm on the right path. Yes.
Yeah.
And just being prepared.
Yes, that's it. That's all it is. Being prepared.
3 steps ahead. I'm just going over all the stuff you said. You know, they say real G's move in silence like lasagna. At least Lil Wayne says that. I loved it. And
well, thank you so much, LaToya. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Allowing me to share. Thank you so much. I hope it was a help as well for you.
It was. It definitely is, I should say. And thank you for coming on, telling your story, being so candid and open, bringing your whole crew and team for support. I definitely want you to come back, because we got more things to cover. I just really wanted to hone in on, they said congratulations, Nene.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Denisha said that. Thanks, Denisha. So yeah, I definitely want to do more things with you. We got a whole new season of craft coming up for 2025, and obviously we're not done with 2024. But what I'm saying is plenty of things that I'm going to be calling you about, and I definitely want you back on the show. So thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, she's already booked on the waiting list, so I don't have to post none of her. I don't have to tell y'all how to get to her, because you're gonna have to wait.
I'll be more prepared too next time, but thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, guys. And you have a great weekend, you guys. Drink responsibly. No, I'm joking. Do whatever you're going to be responsible with it. And remember that this is all about children, okay? Children and families are our focus at the end of the day, you guys. But, you know, it takes money. We can't love, you know, we can love on them for free, but we need places to love in. We need,
right.
We need to eat. Okay, so we still got to make that revenue. And you know, at Craft, our business motto is we want our child care businesses to be making between 19 and 40% profit in their revenue. And we're going to help you get there. All right? So,
good, wonderful.
That's right. See, you're going to be like Miss Glenesa. Okay, look at her office. That's cute too. I meant to tell you. Oh, there goes Troy. Hey, Troy. That's husband, y'all.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. You want to unmute? Does he know he on camera?
He probably don't know operator.
Oh yeah. All right. So at least we got to see who he is. But Troy, are you talking to us? Because you're on mute. Oh, no, he ain't talking to us. All right, y'all. We about to land this plane. And I will see you at the next Craft Cafe, you guys. Y'all have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, now I can hear you.
Oh, so you were talking to us. Here's Troy.
Yeah, I was talking to you guys.
How you doing? Did you want to say any comments about your wife? We heard about you a little bit, Troy.
Oh, wow. A lot of people have great things to say, and they all are right. So she's a wonderful woman. That's why I married her. She's great, very intelligent, thinks out the box. Pretty. She's just a great woman. I'm lucky. I think she has a lot to share with the world, especially with business-minded and empowering women. So I think her intellect and the way she can portray herself and help other young women and as well as men. So I wanted to say that. So because she can see. She sees a lot of potential in things that most people probably just walk by. So, and she can pick things apart to find the right answer. She asks a lot of questions, so sometimes that could be annoying. But she has a way, it's like chess pieces. So she plays chess, other people play checkers. And her pastime is like Sudoku and stuff like that. She has that.
TMI.
They don't even know about my Sudoku. My kids love Sudoku.
TMI.
But she's great.
I think they're getting the times mixed up because these people tapping in are Central Time.
And I'm so sorry. I did not know. I just assumed
that's okay. I think they're the ones that tap they were on East Coast, but I think that people getting the times confused, So that's okay. It's all good.
Oh, does that mean I'm late? Who's that? Oh, that's Michelle.
Yes.
Oh, okay, Shirley. Well, Troy, Mr. Lovely husband that she referred to you. I'm excited. I'm sorry y'all got the times mixed up, but I'm so glad that you were
sounding off, everyone.
Huh?
Aww.
We started at noon on my out time, but it was 1 Eastern time.
Can someone send us the recording?
Of course. It's going to be on all platforms and our app and Facebook and YouTube.
Send me the link and I'll make sure as well. I'll send the link out because I know in the middle of the day people are working. So
yeah, I know. And that's why I'm so thankful when you guys are able to make it. So
thank you.
It will be posted on all the platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and our Craft Plus app. All right, y'all.
Good. Thanks.
All right, take care.
All right.
Great weekend.
Bye-bye.